So what's happening, guys? I'm just gonna get started, fire away. So right now I'm in the Kensington area, actually outside the Holiday Inn in Cromwell Road, out in the borough of Kensington, which is the borough of the Grenfell Tower fire block. So this is the community, this is the area which we're involved in. As you can see, there's still a lot of people doing some charity work. There's still a lot of people. So there's a few people actually staying in this hotel, and there's people just bringing donations and packs of food and toiletries and clothes and food and all the rest of it. So yeah, we're just here. So the reason why I wanted to do this video, I know it's like 23 people on the video right now. It probably will get a lot more views later on, so I'm not really going to be waiting for no one. But the main purpose of this video was simply because everyone knows that I was there at the fire the night of the Grenfell Tower block when it caught on fire. So a lot of people know that I was actually there. A lot of people saw me recording, going live on Facebook from about 3 AM until about 5 AM. But they never really saw what happened between the hours of 1 AM and 3 AM because we didn't have time to start recording and going around recording. A lot of chaotic scenes were happening between those times. So what basically happened, I'm going to tell you guys in a nutshell because I really don't want to miss these people coming out. Okay, I think they're one of the I'm not going to ask them to get in the camera because they're one of the people that survived the fire right now. They're just over here, just a family of 8 actually that survived the fire, and they're just behind me right now in the hotel. But I'm not going to get them on a Facebook Live because there's a time of mourning and it's a very sad time right now. But look, one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video is I don't really like to put myself out there too much. But many of you guys know that yes, the BBC done a report on me and the man that filmed the Grenfell Tower block live and blah 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 and all the rest of it. The first thing that I want to point out first and foremost is that I'm not a hero, right? I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people sending me friends requests, messaging me saying, wow, you're a hero. And the first thing that I want to say is that I am not a hero. All right, that's the first thing I want to put out there. I'm not a hero. I just tried to do what any decent human being would have done for any person caught in a similar type of calamity or scenario. Okay, and anyone that wouldn't have tried to do anything really needs to check their pulse, because if you see somebody in a situation where you feel like, you know, they're dying or they're in a tragedy, they're having an accident, and you don't want to help them, then your heart is not in the right place. So that's the first thing I'd say. I'm not a hero. I'm definitely not a hero. Between the hours of 1 and 3 AM, I'm going to tell you guys in a nutshell what happened. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm not going to mention no names. But what happened was very simple. Now, lately, and I don't know where to start, but I'm really happy because I have got a lot of positive messages from a lot of people. And I've got hundreds of messages, and some of the messages that I've come across were, you know, I was against Muslims after the whole bombings in London, and I really hated Muslims, and, you know, I wanted to do this and do that to Muslims and so on. But after I saw your video, my whole view and perception of Muslims changed, and it's all about love and humanity. So I'm really happy about that the video has actually allowed people to change their level of thinking. But anyway, cut a long story short now, 1 AM when the fire kicked off, about 12:55 AM. So some of the brothers, a lot of the Muslims, right, in the community, naturally it's Ramadan, so a lot of people are up. They're having their suhoor, they're having their food at that time of the night. You know, and they're sitting amongst themselves and their family. So we were just another bunch of Muslim guys out and about in the community, and we got the call that the block was on fire. Okay. Now, as we got the call, your first gut instinct is to run over and help. That's the first thing you want to do. So the first thing I did is I phoned my mum. I said, Mum, there's a fire and I'm going to help, right? And she said, no, don't. I said, Mum, I've got to go do what I can. Now, as we got to the fire, as we got to the block, only the top part of the block was on fire. Okay? There was only the top part of the block which was on fire. Okay? A small part of the block was on fire. Now, from what we've been told, right, as we arrived, I got there about just after 1. So there's a lot of people gathering around the block, a lot of people in the community gathering around the block. And what happened in a nutshell was many people from the community, many Muslims, yes, many Muslims, because a lot of the time Muslims get bad press. So this is why I wanted to do this video. Majority of the Muslims, and of course it's a very multicultural community, so there were other people from other ethnicities, backgrounds, races, religions. This is not just about the Muslims, but I have to big it up. I have to big up and give it to those Muslims, because what they did, right, they ran to the building. There was a bunch of us. Now, police came to the scene straight away. Fire brigade came, but they didn't know where to park. They was actually lost. So the fire brigade protocol is to wait for more manpower. So they couldn't actually go into the building when they arrived. They went into the ground floor of the building to see if there was any people that needed help, and they were shouting up and down. But what happened is a lot of the Muslim brothers came together from the community, and they started surrounding the block. And I believe there was at least 100 numbers gathered. And police came and started blocking off the block and telling people, you're not allowed to go in, stand back, stand back. So what happened was there was a bit of friction between the people from the community and the police, okay? Police were stopping people from going into the block. I mean, what would you do? What would you do if you see your family? If you see your family banging on the window, the 17th, the 20th floor, banging on the window, screaming, saying, help me, help me, help me, and you're standing outside of a block, and the police are not letting you go into that block to rescue your family, what would you do? What would any sane human being do? You'd fight the police. You would fight the police. Okay, you would fight the police, and you would try your hardest. Yep, the fire was definitely in the center of the block, I'm aware of that, and it got to the top. So you would fight the police to get into that block to rescue your family. That's the first thing you would do. So the police were stopping people from getting into the block. Now what happened was, because the crowd got bigger and bigger, the police couldn't handle it. So they called riot police, right? Now from the hundreds of people that started gathering, people tried to run into the block and police weren't letting them. About 20 people, from my account, about 20 people ran towards the block and ran inside the block, right? And these guys are the real heroes, because the reason why I'm doing this video is because they haven't got no recognition whatsoever for their work, for their what do you call it, heroism. They're heroes. They ran into the block, and from my understanding, approximately 12 of them got to like the fourth floor. From the fourth floor and above and beyond, it was very difficult to get any further, because there were literally people dying in the stairwell. There were dead bodies in the stairwell. There were gas explosions in the stairwell. And this is from people that are telling us, that came straight out of the block themselves. So about 12 people couldn't get beyond that. Another bunch of people ran up. They didn't come back out. And at least 3 people that we're aware of, and I'm not going to mention their names. I'm not going to mention their names because it's not my place to say. But one brother in particular that we got speaking to, he's a good friend of ours, right? He ran up the block. So one of the brothers that we know, he ran straight to the top of the block. And when he got to the top of the block, he got his family out the block, right? Now, bearing in mind, and I don't want to discredit the fire service and the firefighters. You know, they're brave people. They did help rescue a lot of people. But if it wasn't for those Muslim people that ran into that block, right, that tried to get people out, that was shouting and screaming, get downstairs, run out of the block now. Now, the reason why there's a riot right now, of course, because of the cladding and all the other regeneration and much of the other things, the politics, I'm not going to get into that. But the reason why is because police was on the phone to victims stuck in their places, in their flats, and they were saying, stay in your flats, do not come out. Stay in your flats, do not come out. But then they're calling their family members, and their family members are telling them to run out the building now, run out the building now. So here's where all the friction has started. So people were running out the block, and other people were being told not to leave, to stay in your block, stay in your block, stay in your block, stay in your flat. So one guy, I can't mention his name just because it's not my place to say so, ran out of the building with his whole family. With his whole family. He got his whole family out of the block. And unfortunately, it's not my place to speak on his behalf because people are mourning right now. So I have to be very sensitive with my words. But you know, he did lose one of his loved ones. He lost someone. He lost his kid, right, from smoke inhalation. But I don't want to talk too much about that because again, people are mourning. So he's lost his family. He lost one member of his family, but he managed to get a lot of his family out, right? There was other people that managed to get out of the building. The majority of people that did not get out of the building was because the police was on the phone to them telling them not to leave your place, not to leave your flats, not to leave your accommodation. The doors are fireproof, they're going to keep you safe. Now, it's crazy, right? So that's what was happening between the hours of 1 and 2 and 3. Then riot police came, and they literally forced everyone. I'm talking like from where I am now, probably to... How can I explain it to you?
Riot
from where I am now, that big building over there, they probably forced them 5 roads that way. Literally 5 roads that way. They forced people away from the block. Riot police came. People were fighting with the police. People were fighting with the riot police. There's an Irish guy, I have to give it to him. He was literally swinging at the police because his family was in there. He was not having none of it. But it was such a horrific scene. It was such a horrific scene. But anyway, the main purpose of this video is to give recognition to those Muslims. Yes, those Muslims that ran into the block, that went to rescue lives, from all different types of backgrounds, races, religions, cultures, ethnicities. They didn't look left, they didn't look right, they ran straight through that door and they went to go and rescue people. Now, the police were stopping them, the firefighters were not going up there, right? And you know, with all due respect to the fire service, because I take my hat off to them, the fire service, the blaze was, it was horrendous. The blaze was horrendous, so they couldn't go up to the fire until like 4 o'clock. So for 3 hours, they didn't go up to the block. In fact, 3.5 hours, they didn't officially go into the block, all right? They only went to the first 2 or 3 floors where people were running down, okay? And you'll see some of the live footage from the firefighters themselves. They saw kids dying in the stairway. There was gas explosions in the stairway because there were gas pipes in the stairway. So kids were dying in the stairway. You know, there was another story of a lady that ran out with her 6 kids. She came out the block and 4 of them were with her. She looked back, 2 of them had left. You know, the story of the guy that I'm not going to mention his name again because I haven't spoke to him and I don't want to speak on his behalf. He rescued his whole family. Unfortunately, one of them died from smoke inhalation. But why is it that there was no one going up? Like, oh, look, I respect it. Look, the fire brigade, it was the worst calamity they've ever come across in the UK and in probably their career. So I respect that they probably couldn't go up to the top of the building. They probably couldn't put out a fire. And you know what? We did see people jumping off the building. There was a massive, whatever you call it, tree falling off the building. So it was literally burning. Falling off the building. So it was literally burning it. They did put a crane on the side of the building, but there was so much debris falling off the building that they couldn't. They literally, I'm gonna sit down. They literally couldn't keep it there because it was literally the firefighters were risking their lives. So that's the truth of what happened. There was a lot of Muslims that ran into the block, that went to help people, save their lives, that rescued lots of people from that block. And this is the stuff that the news is not showing you. The BBC did an interview on me. I'm not a hero, but I'm really happy because in my Facebook Live, you guys will see that there was a lady, after 47 minutes, there was a lady stuck on the 11th floor. And we were shouting to her, what floor are you on? What floor are you on? She said, I'm on the 11th floor. We said, who's with you? She goes, 1 child, 2 adults. And we was like, fill up your bath. I don't know if you guys remember. We was like, fill up your bath. Fill up your bath. We were shouting, fill up your bath. And one of the friends that was with me, he was like, you know, we was shouting, wrap yourself in a wet towel. If worse comes to worse, put your kid in the bath and fill up your bath. And after that, we never saw her. But I'm very happy because I just got the news today that her name is Natasha Elok. Natasha Elok, and she actually got out of the fire alive. She got out of the fire alive. And it's all over the newspapers. She said, oh, we flooded the bath. We was on the 11th floor. Me, my partner, and my kid got out alive. And that's the lady that we were shouting towards. We were telling her to fill up your bath. You guys can clearly see it on the Facebook Live and what the BBC News report did. So, you know, when I heard that, I had a lot of joy come to my heart. But anyway, it's not even about me. I'm not no hero. I just did what I could do. But, you know, that brought a lot of joy to my heart that 1 life was saved during us doing that Facebook Live. But however, from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock before I started recording, there was a lot of Muslims from the community and non-Muslims alike, but the majority of Muslims that ran into that building, that went to rescue family, friends, neighbors, whoever they could be, and they ran into that building. They didn't look left, they didn't look right. Some never came out again. majority came out, and two of them, there was 3 I heard of, but 2 in particular that got to the top of the building, rescued their whole family, and got their whole family out of the fire. Why were the police telling people to stay put? This is why people are upset. Why were the police telling people to stay put and to stay in their flats? Imagine you knowing you're on the phone to the police and they say, you're gonna be all right, don't worry, it's gonna be okay, stay indoors, we're sending someone up. But you know your life's gonna end in a matter of 2 hours. You know your life's gonna end in a matter of 3 hours. The reality is this: there was time for people to be rescued. There was time for people to run out of their block. There was time to save hundreds of lives. I mean it. As for the whole cladding on the block, the lack of sprinklers, the 10 million invested, the regeneration, that's just another load of BS, right? That's just another load of crap which the government and the community and the council have done. I'm not going to be talking about that because that's just another conversation where people are upset, people have been affected, people are angry at their council, their community. There's a lot of rich folks that wanted that block removed. But again, I'm not going to start talking about that and the whole political side of things.
Conspiracy.
But I just wanted to make this video to recognize all those Muslims, because it's about time Muslims started getting good press. All those Muslims that ran into the building, that risked their lives to save people trapped in the fire. Some got out, some never got out, many died, but there was people that ran into that building and saved lives. And there was all the Muslims from that community. The police were telling everyone, stay in your block, stay in your flats, stay in your flats. So that's the main reason why I wanted to do this video, because I feel like the truth has not been put out. There's a lot more that hasn't been put out, but that's not my place to start discussing. As I said, people are mourning. It's a sensitive time. I don't want to talk about deaths and what we witnessed. But again, the whole purpose of this video was to recognize all those Muslims that ran into the building. And I've had many people messaging me, many people that were anti-Islamic, many people from like the EDL and Tommy Robinson and all these racist bigots and these kind of people. And they've been messaging me saying, you know what? I used to hate Muslims. And after I saw your video, my mind's completely changed. We're all humans. It's all about love. It's all about humanity. And it's not even about Muslim. It's about the one race, the human race. Everyone coming together at a time of need, a time of calamity, working together side by side, community. It really is about love. It's about peace. It's about being there for one another, man. You know, love thy neighbor. Most religions, you know, preach one God. They preach similar things, man. But anyway, that was my video. Sorry if I was waffling on. I've had like an hour's sleep. You can see the star in my eye. But yeah, that's the main reason why I wanted to do this video, to recognize all those Muslims that ran through the building, right, before the police and the riot police came and removed everyone. That's why the riot police came, because many people were running into that building trying to save lives, all right? And I just wanted to share that video because there's been like thousands of people sending me messages, thousands of people sending me friends requests. There's hundreds and hundreds of messages that I haven't got back to. The BBC done a news report on me. I did tell them this. I did say, look, there was many Muslims that ran into that block. You need to recognize them because it's the month of Ramadan and they was out and about. Unfortunately, they didn't have time to put that in. So that's why I want to do this Facebook video, to recognize those individuals. They're courageous lions. They're courageous lions. They are men of integrity, men of honor, men of faith, men of belief, you know, men. They are men, real men, right? Real men that jumped on the front line to help people. Now, after when the police came, they blocked off all the roads, they cordoned off all the roads. That's when I started my Facebook Live. I started my Facebook Live after the riot police had moved everyone, and they sealed off all the roads. I started my Facebook Live around the back of the block, and thank God, we was there shouting towards people in the block to keep themselves wet, to fill up their baths. You know, we did what we could. We saw a lot of people dying, but thank God we shouted out to that lady with the kid, right? And her and her partner on the 11th floor, and we shouted out, wrap yourself in wet towels and fill up the bath. And today I just saw the newspaper that she's not dead. And that's just brought so much joy to my heart right now, man. So I'm just happy. I'm happy. But yeah, big up all the Muslims that ran into that building, and all the non-Muslims and all the community from the Latimer, Shepherd's Bush, Ladbroke Grove area that have been on the front line the last few days helping out in the community, because they really are the true heroes. Then the fire brigade are the heroes. Before the fire brigade, it's all those people that ran into that building and rescued lives. If it wasn't for them, there'll be more blood on the government's hand, there'll be more blood on the police's hand, there'll be more blood on all of our hands as a community. But thank God for those people, because without them, more lives, you know, more lives would have been dead. More people would have been dead. So that's it, man. That's it, guys. And please, stop calling me a hero. I'm not a hero. I don't want that recognition. I don't want that limelight. I'm not a hero. I didn't do nothing. There was real heroes out there on the ground that day that saved people's lives. I was not one of them. I just did what I could. And after 3 o'clock, when I was completely helpless, the next best thing I could do was go on Facebook Live. That's all I could do, just to show the world what's going on. But yeah, man, that's it. Other than that, guys, look, just pray for all those people that have passed away. Pray for their loved ones. Right now, I'm at the Kensington Hilton Hotel. There's people here. There's people staying in the hotel here. There's people staying in different hotels all across the community. And yeah, over the next few days, if you can donate food, toiletries, clothing, I think they're quite well off now with a lot of the I think they're quite okay now with a lot of the fooding and toiletries and stuff. But whatever you guys can do, just donate and just help people out. And you know, this just should be a wake-up call for the rest of the UK, man, that we all need to unite regardless of race, background, religion. And fire against fire creates ash. Love and unity and humanity always wins in the end, man. It always wins in the end. So yeah, that's my video. That's all I wanted to talk about. What happened between 1 AM and 3 AM before I started my Facebook Live. And I wanted to big up and recognize all those Muslims that were in the front line rescuing people and dragging people out of that block before the fire brigade ran into that block, before the police called riot police. There were many people that ran up there and saved lives. And that's all I wanted to talk about, man. Other than that, man, God bless, guys. I'm going to be signing out. I'm going to carry on doing my chores over here. And I hope you guys are well. Respect, God bless, take care, and
yes, my beautiful people, sometimes it's best to hear from the person who was there on the scene, who also helped take part of saving some of the people in life. And this whole thing, you know, people, is just like it's a big madness are going on, because even right now, when you do listen to the news now giving us straight up story. The news now giving us solid power going until now. So it's when you get the inside information from the person who was there, it's a good look. But later on, I'm going to do a proper Facebook Live anyhow, where we'll have this discussion and also call-in session where you can call in and talk on the situation as well. This struggle is real.